Okay, I'm going to show you guys an example of what we mean by proper handling and the results we get and some of the reasons why. We hear it all the time. I'm just going to get it tanned. So all I need to do is get the rough stuff off and solve it. Now, everything needs to be handled by industry standards. Okay, this is an example. See all the fat left on here? That's way too much fat left on. What happens when you leave the fat on? You start getting mold. Especially when you add it to the fact that this one was put up with the old skip the flip thing, which is the absolutely wrong thing to do. I don't care who on Facebook or YouTube tells you to do it, you do not skip the flip. Okay, I was going to show a good handled coyote, which I'll have to do in another video because there is none in this batch that are actually well handled. But when you see all this, this is all wire burn. All this meat and everything left on the face and the head. This is all potentially going to cause you problems, and you will not get as good of an end result. But yes, that absolutely do not do this nonsense where you put it on a stretcher. I don't care if it's a board or wire, but especially not a wire. Do not put it on fur out and leave it that way. What happens, you should already be able to see it. See how that's stiff? That's burnt spot. That is not going to loosen up. It's not going to tan. It's actually going to fall apart during the process. And when we go over it with the knife and we shave on that, you can see what happens. Okay, this is never going to pickle. It's never going to tan. It's a stiff spot. It's going to cut holes, and that's just going to fall apart during the rest of the tanning process. So flesh them good. Get this off. Meat and fat needs to be fleshed off of coyotes. By turning too soon or not turning at all like this one was done, you end up with this. You end up with mold. You're just asking for problems. It's harder on our end, and you end up with an inferior product. Okay, we're going to show you a coyote that was what I would consider a well-handled skin. Remember the one that had all the meat and fat and everything back here? See how nice and clean this is through the body. It's got scraped, the red meat's gone, the fat's gone. The little bit down here, that membrane is so tight on those hips, it'll dry just fine. It's not a big deal if you don't get that off. Could have took a little bit more up here on the head and the face. But this one was turned a little too quick. You see the burn lines on there. But with it being just up here, it's not going to be a big deal. Sometimes we'll get hair slippage. Well, we did get a little bit there. That was from being turned too quick. You want to make sure they got plenty of dry to them before you invert them fur out. So another thing you got to watch on coyotes is tails. This is, I said it's well handled till we get down here to the tail. Okay, this is what happens when you have a tail that you don't keep open. It's either not pinned open or you don't run your thumb down through it several times a day for the first couple of days to keep it from rolling shut. What happens when it rolls shut, now you end up with slippage. The fur is turned loose on there. So you've got to keep those tails open. A lot of times you end up with what I call a poodle tail. They'll fold up right here in the middle. They'll have fur up here and fur on the tip, and it'll be bald in the middle. That's typical from when that tail rolls up and goes shut on you. Now, another thing on the tails, this is one that's already shaved. See the weak spot right there? See where we lost the fur? We come down here, on your finger down there, they didn't split it. Okay, split your tails, that split stops right there, and right there is where the fur lost. A lot of times on a tail that's not split, the tip will still be there, but you're going to lose some of it. But that's what happens. Split your tails all the way to the tip. I don't care what species it is. If you plan on keeping the tail on it, split it out all the way to the tip. Okay, here's one of the skip the flip coyotes that I showed you earlier when we were working on it. You look right down this line. That's where the wire burn is. And there is some holes, but every one of these spots here that had the burn, that's going to have knotted up hair. It's going to have bad hair on the other side. But this side shows it very well too. You can see right where the wire was. This is junk all the way down here. Okay, up on the nose, lost hair up on there because it was turned too soon or not turned at all. But you might look at it and say, well, the hide's still there. It is. But what happens is all of those bad spots, if you look right down through here, you see how weak it is. That's because it's just not right there. See the rust mark from the burn, and right there's fur knotted up. This will have fur knotted up right down that line on both sides. So no matter what you see or what you hear, do not skip the flip, especially if you're using wire. I don't care how hot you have it in there, it makes a reaction and it puts a wire burn on there, and you end up with a strip down each side of your skin that's bad. So you're going to end up with a belly and a back. That's basically what you do when you do that. So even if you do have them fleshed really well, it's still, you're going to have this problem, you know, because you're going to burn that skin, and it's not going to tan, it's just going to knot up on you.